Hi everyone, this is Kona, and we're going to talk about discussion settings. So first of all, how would you access your different discussions? Well, you could find them within your assignments. You could go to your discussion link, or if you've already added to your modules, you can go to your modules. So for right now, I'm going to go ahead and go into modules and go to a discussion. I'm going to go to my example discussion and go ahead and click on it. Now what you're going to see, first of all, is there's no settings, there's no directions, there's no anything. So what you'll need to do is click Edit. Now before that, I am going to show you over here that there is a delete and a close for comments. So if you want to close this off, you want students to be able to see what everyone else said, but not be able to comment, you can close it for comments, and then there's that delete button. For now, we're going to go ahead and edit it. So this is where you would add assignment or discussion directions here. You could also put a video, an image, anything you'd like in here by using this content over here, files, images, anything like that, links to any different things if you want to remind students to read a certain page before going to the discussion. You can also add an attachment. So then you can say if you want to allow threaded replies, otherwise it's just going to be regular. You can delay postings. So if you don't want anything to show up until a later date, which doesn't really make a lot of sense normally. The big feature though is users must post before seeing replies. That's a really useful tool. Basically what it means is that students will not be able to see what everyone else wrote until they post their initial response. So that's a really important, definitely a good one to check. If you want to be able to do podcasting, you can do that. The other important box to check is used for grading. Unless you don't want to use it for grading, then don't bother to check it, but in most cases you're going to be using this for grading. You'll then get the option to set it for points. So I'm going to say it's worth 10 points. Grading type, this is where you can say if it's a point, letter grade, incomplete, complete, whichever. Assignment group, now assignment group is set up individually. So each one of you will set up your different assignment groups based on your grade book and how you grade and group things together. So my different assignment groups are showing up here, and I'm going to consider this participation. But you will probably have a discussion assignment group, and that would be where you would normally put it. But just so you know, everyone's going to have different types of assignment groups. You can then say if it's a group assignment, so if you have your students working in groups, you would check that box. If you want to require peer reviews, you can do that here. Then you would come down here and you would actually set the due dates. So I would say my due date is the 29th, let's say, and I want students to be able to start posting in it as of the 25th. You could then close it here, so you can say I don't want anyone to be able to post to this discussion after a certain date. For me personally, I would say just leave it open. That way the students can kind of come in and out and check and see what's going on. But if you do not want students to be able to post after a certain date, then you can come in and say, nope, normally you would close it on the same day as your due date. So completely up to you. Me in general, actually, I would clear this out and not set one, but you could. Now the other neat thing is that if you were doing this as a two different courses, two different sections combined into one course, you could actually have different due dates and different available dates based on your section. So let's say my Math 113-01 section actually is a Monday, Wednesday, Friday. So it makes sense that this is that its due date is on a Friday. But I'm going to add a due date for my 02 section, and that class is a Tuesday, Thursday class. So I'm going to make that due date on the 28th. Now this will actually, the due dates are going to be what shows up on the calendar for the students, and you'll also be able to see that as well, that you've got the two different due dates for the two different sections. But it's very important that the 01 students will only see their due date and the 02 section will only see their due date. So this is really nice if you've got two different sections and you have two different due dates. Now if you have two different sections but they're using the same due date, then you didn't need to do any of this and you could have left it at everyone else and just gone on your merry way. So the only time you would need this is if you have two different due dates for your sections. So even if you have two sections but they're combined together and they don't need a different due date, don't worry about this. So there you go. We're going to go back through, review your settings. If you're happy, go ahead and make sure you click Save. So nope, no due date. Yep, that's fine. I'm going to go ahead and say no due date. So in just a minute, it will save. Now, once it's saved, what if you wanted to add a rubric. What you would do is come up here, and now when you click on that gearbox, you get a delete speed grader. So this is where you actually go to grade your discussions. You get peer reviews if you wanted to do peer reviews, and add a rubric. So remember, this is different. So once you edit your settings and you actually get everything set up and make it a graded discussion, you're going to get all of these extra features. But I'm going to go ahead, you can add your rubric, and this is where you could literally create the rubric here. Or if you've already created it, you can go find your rubric, and let's see if there's a, let's pretend it's this discussion, use this rubric, and yep, that looks good. So there you go. You'll then actually have the rubric will be added to this as well. If you needed to change anything, you would just go back to add rubric. Once again, peer review, speed grader, all of those features, so that's where you go to grade, are right there in that gearbox. Otherwise, if you need to edit something, you would click here to edit. So I hope this helps, and let me know if you have any questions.